You ask, I answer. And this is Leonardo DiCaprio, his relationships through the years. And he's had quite a few. Nothing wrong with that, you know. Hey, he's living his life the way he wants to live it. So we're going to give it a moment for people to come in, and we'll get into the read. I'm going to first pull a card on Leonardo, a few cards on him, you know, just to lay the foundation, and we'll put them on the board here. And then we'll walk through the various relationships that he's been in. You know, there's plenty of relationships that he's had that no one knows about, or, you know, it's like, well, we think he dated this person, or like Naomi Campbell was a person, one of those people. So, yeah. We'll give it a couple minutes, see who comes in. Hopefully everybody's doing well on this morning, this Monday morning. Hopefully some folks will come out. Otherwise, it doesn't matter. We'll put this up on the, once it's done rendering, it'll just be on my YouTube channel, right? So we'll give it another minute, and then we'll get started. We'll start by pulling one of these cards, Heaven or Hell. And yeah. All right, somebody popped in. More people will come in as we get into the live stream. So we're going to, like I say, we're going to start with talking about Leonardo DiCaprio. So we're going to get a few cards on him, you know, the man. And then we'll get into the various relationships that he's been in. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. Let's get that first card and see what the cards want to say. What are the cards talking about right now? Okay, we have Bail. This is an interesting one. It just says anger. I'm not going to pull any more. I'm just going to stick with this one and what it says, which is anger. Because this is someone, this being Leonardo, he's someone that he has issues. You know, he definitely has issues. And with the card coming out saying anger, then we can go with that. But it's kept deep down. It's not something that he shows. Maybe in passive aggressive ways. Okay, in passive aggressive ways. Okay, let's get a tarot card on him and see what the cards. Okay, that just flipped out. We'll take that one. And then we'll get another one. The card that flipped out is interesting. It's a juxtaposition. But let's see more about him. So we've got the first card, which says anger. And I picked that up, but it's not outwardly. You don't see it. Okay, then we have Three of Cups. Okay, so Three of Cups came out, and we're talking about Leonardo. And this is celebrations because he does a lot of that. All right, but we still have those anger issues. And the other card is the Knight of Wands that wants to come out and say he's impulsive and immature. I think we can say that he's that hot-tempered, rebellious, and charming. Okay, now this is interesting because it goes to this card that I just pulled on him. It says anger coupled with the Knight. Yeah, the Knight of Wands. That's a young, impulsive. Now, it's interesting because it doesn't say young. It says immature. I apologize. And that's him because he's not a young person. He's not old, but he's not young. He's a mature. But this is a mature, immature person that we're dealing with. Hence, the dating of very young women in their 20s. And he's, what, 50 at least? Yeah. So he has anger issues. He has impulsive issues. He cannot remain in relationships because he's not built for them. Well, let's find out, why isn't he built for relationships? What is it that keeps him coming in and out of them? It's part of his upbringing, which wasn't good. Let's get a card on that. Let's get a card on his upbringing, his life, or whatever the card wants to tell us as it relates to bad relationships. Ten of Swords. Defeat and failure, bitterness and betrayal, exhaustion, collapse, and giving up. I get that, well, he's quite boring in relationships, but I get that a Ten of Swords, this is all about him. Bitterness, betrayal. He doesn't trust. That's part of his problem. He's not a trusting person. But he's quite immature, and his immaturity is what keeps him stuck where he's at. Okay, let's get into his relationships. That's enough about him. We see Ten of Swords, Knight of Wands, anger, celebrating. He does plenty of that, but not in the best way, not in a positive way. So let's get into his relationships. So let's start out. One of the first relationships we have is, this is, of course, Leonardo, and that's Juliet Lewis. Okay, so we're going to get into that relationship. Let's put these cards on. Let's take these and put them back in the deck. And then we'll start. What we'll do is, let's try to get this on camera. Okay. I think what I'll first do is pull a card. Let's do a love oracle card and see, because they were in a relationship, let's see what kind of relationship or what one of them would say, right? These are the love oracles. I'm going to move this out of the way. We know we're talking about Juliet and Leonardo. So let's get a love oracle card and see what the card wants to tell us as it relates to Leonardo and Juliet Lewis. I don't want that glaring, so you don't have to see that. Okay, let's do a little more shuffling and let's get that card. What words does either Juliet or Leonardo want to say as it relates to their relationship? Okay, can you forgive me? Now, I get that is Leonardo, because, he's asking for her forgiveness because he is not good in relationships. I get he's stingy. I'm just getting a lot of negativity, but it has a lot to do with his upbringing. But he's saying, can you forgive me? Even till this day, can you forgive me? I think that she would. Let's get a goddess card on Juliet. What was she like as it relates to, Leonardo in this relationship? Let's get a goddess card and see what type of goddess she was. I get that she was strong. She was vocal. She didn't put up with a lot, is what I pick up from her. Okay, we have generosity. And she was generous, because that's what the card is telling us. Oshun, she was generous. Generous in terms of her time, her love, her energy. And that is why Leonardo steps in and he's like, I'm sorry. Somebody just popped into, let's see who that is. So I can say, oh, hey, Anthea. Good to see you. Welcome to the live. Good to see you, Anthea. So yeah, she was very generous. And like I was saying, can you forgive me? Because he knew the generosity that Juliet Lewis gave to him. He understood that. Let's get some of these cards. Let's get a couple tarot cards on them. Let's pull it from the zombie deck. Feeling compelled to do that so we can get a little more on this relationship. So we're talking about Juliet Lewis and Leonardo, one of the first relationships that he had. Let's pull 2 cards. So we know she was generous in giving. What else about the relationship? 2 of Cups. Probably the most loving and the most genuine relationship that he's ever been in. That's what I'm getting. Oh, and 9 of Cups. Absolutely. Wish fulfillment. She was good for him. I'm not even going to go into it anymore, but he wasn't good for her. But which is why he's saying, can you forgive me? He's not good for anyone in relationships. Hey, Jillian, good to see you. All right, let's move on. Let's see, who do we have next? Heather Graham. So there's, of course, Leonardo. There's Heather when they were dating. I'm assuming this is a little younger photo, and there she is there, Heather. Okay, let's see what the let's get a love card for Heather. Let's get these out of the way. I'm going to put them back in the deck, and then we will talk about Heather. I get tumultuous. I get a lot of yelling in this relationship, interestingly enough. A lot of yelling on her part. He would retreat a lot, is what I'm getting. He retreated. He was no match for her, is what I get. That's interesting. Okay, let's start, since we did this for Juliet, let's start the read with Heather Graham and Leonardo with a love card. Let's see what one of them wanted to say. I'll know instinctively when I pull the card who's saying what. You may know as well. I feel the love. I get that from both of them. But love is not really the right word. I feel the desire. I feel the lust. That's what I pick up. I don't pick up love per se. I pick up lust. Okay, let's get a card. Let's see what kind of goddess, the type of person that she was in the relationship. She being Heather. Let's see. What do the cards want to tell us? Potential. Now, we know that Leonardo just doesn't have luck in relationships. He doesn't stay in them because they're never about love. But it's saying potential. And what I get is there was potential in this relationship, but this was, again, early on. But I get that Heather recognized who she was dealing with, is what I'm getting. She saw the person for who they were. I want to get one of my Brittany cards here. I have my little Brittany cards that I took out. I curated all of these cards for this read. So let's see what one of Brittany's oracle cards wants to say. I'm just compelled, feeling drawn to do that. Oh, this card likes to come out. Dump him. And that is what she did. You know, it's interesting because what I get from that card is he gets dumped a lot. He gets dumped. It's not about him moving on. Well, he does move on, but it's not about him saying sayonara. He gets dumped. Okay, let's get some oracle keyword cards to, because this was an interesting relationship. So let's get some more insight into this. Yeah, Brittany cards, right, Anthea? Let's get 3. But that card was important to come out. I don't have to get any more of the Brittany cards because what I just shared about him might be shocking to some. Dump him. He gets dumped. Now, we're not out here to dump on Leonardo. We're just out here out of curiosity to see, well, why does this person go through so many relationships? What are his relationships like? That's the purpose of this series. Okay, we have laughter, happiness, joy, and healing. Now, this is interesting. What I get with this card and Leonardo is that she being Heather, she would get in his face and pick with him. She would pick with him. Oh my goodness. But she was spiritually woke. She was spiritually woke, whereas he's nowhere near that. He is nowhere near spiritually woke. Now, if you've watched any of my Leonardo DiCaprio reads, you'll know that this falls in line. Penny pinching. He's very selfish and greedy, and he doesn't give. I've said that in other readings, so it's just coming up to verify that. He is a penny pincher, financial struggle, saving up, budgeting. Even though he's not financially struggling, nor will he ever be really financially struggling, he is that way in relationships. Cheap, it's just bland. It's boring. The relationships are boring. Let's pull a couple of these zombie cards to see if the cards want to tell us anything else, and then we'll move on to Kristen Zang. Let's just get one of these. Hope everybody's doing well, and thank you for joining me. Oh, strength. In many ways, Heather had to be strong because Leonardo doesn't have strength in relationships. He's not good at them. He's the kind of person where you would, go out as a couple, go out to dinner and at a cheap place. You would come home and he would just retreat. It was like he's like that. He retreats and he just, yeah. All right, I'm going to leave that one there. We're going to move on. We're going to move on to Kristen Zang. Okay, I'm going to put these cards away, do a little shuffling, and then we'll see what the cards want to tell us as it relates to Kristen. So this is I'm doing. Let's see who just popped in. Is that House of Adonis? Oh, Rochelle. Hey, Rochelle. Good to see you, my friend. So good to see you out here, Rochelle. Love you. Okay, let's put these away. And like I say, we'll move on. So far, we know what we've gathered is that he gets dumped. He being Leonardo. He gets dumped by these women. No matter what you might hear, they're dumping him. I pulled the Brittany card. It says dump him. And that is what happens to him because he's boring. He's selfish. He's greedy. He's cheap. I get he's a lot of really, negative things that, any woman worth her salt wouldn't want to deal with. Right. Okay. Let's keep going. This is getting interesting. Okay. This is Kristen Zang. Right? This is the next person we're going to talk about. You see those two? Okay. All right. Let's go ahead and start with a love card and see what one of them wants to say as it relates to love. Let's see. Let's see. What do the love cards want to tell us? Okay. I connect with you at night. I connect with you at night. I get with this is that they were more like nocturnal, they were out at night, and that's, it wasn't like they did much activities during the day, but they were younger then. He was young then. So that makes sense. I could connect with you at night. So like at nightclubs and things like that, they would come together. And they had a good time is what I'm getting. They had a good time. They enjoyed each other's company. Let's see what kind of goddess she is. Now, these are younger relationships. These are when he's young. So you might think, well, he was younger then, so maybe that's why he was cheap. Well, he's always been cheap, is what I get. He's always, from the younger relationships right up to now. It's just innate to him. All right, let's get that goddess card to see what type of goddess Kristen was. I say was because she could be different with someone else. Divine wisdom. Sophia. Very smart. What I get is he wasn't able to win a battle or win a fight with her, Like she had it going on in the brains department as it relates to the two of them. Knowing how to fight is what I get. She knew how to dish it out. These cards are going to want to slide. I'm going to put this there. Okay. All right. Let's get a couple. Let's get a Brittany card. Nope, we're done with that. Okay. Let's get a zombie card. Let's get a couple of tarot cards from my zombie deck. And see. Thank you, Rochelle. Thank you for the tea. Thank you for the support. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Oh, we've got two together, so we'll take those two. Okay. So we have the Four of, I think this is Swords. I'm not sure what is this? Four of Hazards. This is Four of Swords. It's like, it goes to what I was saying earlier about nocturnal and them being, partying and things like that and needing rest. So there was a lot of sleeping is what I'm getting in. This is weird, but Five of Swords, fighting, her being alone a lot. I don't get this as the best of relationships. Not the worst, but he was younger then. He had a lot of innocence, obviously, but the card that I pulled at the beginning about him, I pulled the Knight of Wands, and it was about immaturity. And he has never matured. So just a lot of immaturity in this relationship. Let's get a couple keyword. I'm going to pull three of these, see what else we can uncover from this. It'll be interesting to see what the other relationships are as he gets older. I'm getting he doesn't change, though, which is interesting and fascinating. He just does not change as he goes through. He doesn't learn from his mistakes. Okay, my boo. That's what she said, which is sweet. That's how she referred to him. Player. But he was a player. And I get that throughout. Just like I got when I pulled the Brittany dump him card, it's the same throughout the relationships. He's the kind of person, he has a fear of love. And he's the kind of person who gets into something and then he's quickly looking for the next thing because he doesn't want to be hurt. He doesn't want to be burned, Let's see. Jillian's saying something. Can't see it that well. Yeah, stunted development. Yeah. Yep, Jillian. That's right. All right, I'm going to leave that relationship there. Not a whole lot, player. What I'm getting with these cards is that more and more is coming out about him. And the reason, it's answering the reason why he doesn't maintain relationships. And we've had so many things: a player, cheap, stingy, boring. I mean, I feel terrible saying this, but it's rolling off the tongue very easily. And no woman wants a cheap man. I mean, no woman wants a cheap man. No woman wants a boring man. We're talking about him. I could say something about women, but we're talking about Leonardo. And no woman wants to get into a relationship with a man that's not giving. Doesn't mean he has to spend his last dime, but, come on. Come on, Leonardo. You're not maintaining relationships and everybody's asking why, and I'm answering the reason why. And to Jillian's point, arrested development. Let's see, Rochelle's saying something there. Right, Rochelle? Yep. Okay, let's move on to the next relationship. Next is Bar Rafael. Okay. This is Bar and Leonardo. Refaeli. I'm not saying the last name right. It's Bar, Barrefaeli. Okay, this is the next one. And she's smiling hard there, but truth be told, dump him is what I'm getting. Let me take a break and see what my chat is saying. Show us the money and a good, right? Show us a good time. Come on. You're the pursuer. Okay, so let's move on to Bar and John. I almost said Johnny Depp and Leonardo. Let's get that love card. Like Tom Cruise said, show me the money. Okay, the love card just fell out. Didn't take much. Either one of them could be saying this, or both. I never meant to hurt you. Okay, now, interestingly enough, this is what Bar is saying. I never meant to hurt you. Interesting. But you just weren't my cup of tea, is what I'm getting. I never meant to hurt you, but you just weren't my cup of tea. This is what Bar is saying to Leonardo. Well, if you ever wondered why he has these terrible relationships, we're learning that right now. And I don't think that you've heard this from anybody ever in one sitting. We're learning why he has gone through so many women, so on and so forth. Okay, let's get that goddess card. Beauty. Beauty. And that is just about Bar, because she's lovely. And she was beautiful inside and out is what I'm getting. Just top notch is what I get. All right, let's get some keywords on this relationship with Leonardo and Bar. Let's see what else the cards want to tell us. This is very interesting. Let's get 3. I will get one more for giggles and kicks. Fuego. We have chemistry, intense passion. Things are heating up. And I get that they had that intensity when they had it, okay? Wine and dine. Now, I talked earlier, courtship, consistently dating, romance, and passion. I get that he really liked and adored her. And he did a little, and I mean a little more for her than he did for others. Because she was solid, I'm getting. She was perfection to him. But, he had to be like this, right? masculine pride. He had to be too much of this. I mean, there's nothing wrong with masculinity. We all love that. But he took it to another level is what I'm getting. When he just wanted her to be his boo. But she was like the card I pulled at the beginning, from Britney Spears, dump him. It's funny, I have that Oracle deck, and that's the card that has come out every time. I've only done it twice, but twice it has come out. Dump him. So, you know, the relationship was stale, it was boring, it was ho-hum, is what I get. You know, they would go on vacations from time to time. I get more than most. Okay. Let's see. Do I want to pull anything else? No, I'm going to leave that there. Okay, let's move on. There's not much else to say in this relationship with Barr. Let's move on to Kate Moss. This is interesting. I'm learning a lot about him, more than I have in previous readings that I've done on him, but I've never done really love readings on him. I mean, I've done things like that, but I have never gone in depth. And these in-depth relationship readings tell you a lot about the person, which is probably why I've been drawn to do them, because it gives people an insight more into, well, why does this person do this? Why does this person why are they in and out of relationships? What causes that? Well, we're seeing that here. We're seeing that now. Okay. We all know Kate Moss. At least I think we do. So this is who we're talking about next. Kate Moss and, of course, Leonardo. Let's get that love card. She appeared in Johnny Depp's read. It's interesting, right? These women just go to these types of men. I'm surprised he didn't date Winona Ryder, because, you know, I just throw my hands up. All right, let's get a love card and see what love wants to say. What do they want to say? The thought of you makes me smile inside. All right, I get that is her. That is Kate saying that, because I get she did something to him, which makes her laugh at what she did. I'm getting it wasn't cool. Okay, let's see what kind of, you know, the shy, quiet kind are the ones you got to watch out for. And she comes off that way. But let's get a goddess card and see what the goddess deck wants to tell us about the relationship, or about Kate. Wisdom. Well, what I get, which would be obvious, is that she was a lot smarter than him. You know, he was immature, though. He's still immature. So I'm not surprised that I just get the women in general that he dated were smart and are smart. So let's get, what else can you tell us about this relationship? Let's pull a couple zombie cards and see what else the cards want to tell us about this slippery, sneaky little relationship. Okay, that just flew out. I'm going to get one more. Okay, and that one flew out on us. Okay, seven of, is that swords? It's driving me crazy. Let me see what this says at the bottom. Seven of, I want to make sure that's what that is. I don't have my book over here. All right, let's see. What is this one? Four of, okay, swords. Four of swords and seven of swords. I get from these cards, I'm going to go with the depiction. Oh, my cards are sliding. I apologize, folks. This person, let me just make sure I'm seeing this correctly. All right, this person has got their hands up to their ears like they just don't want to hear it anymore. I'm done. I don't want to hear what you have to say. You make me tired. Seven of Swords. I don't like arguing. I don't like fussing. I get that anyway, fussing and fighting. More on her end, though. I just get him not having the maturity level. It's like almost like if you're 30, you act like you're 15. If you're 50, which is he's I think around that age, if you're 50, you act like you're 15. You don't have, it's like you're stuck in time. To what Jillian said, arrested development. In other words, you're not able to, you don't have the capacity to be mature. Let's get some. You just lack maturity. But you know, I mean, that could be, I don't know what's causing that. There could be a reason for that. Let's get a couple of oracle cards and see what else the cards want to tell us. Oh, this keeps coming out. Player. Because this is him, people. He's a player. Bye, Felicia. Okay. Peace out. Thank you. Next. This is him. But I said earlier that the women leave him. Sometimes they just don't show up again. It's kind of like Usher vibes. I get with him. It's like an Usher. You know, Usher is, if I were to do all his relationships through the years, it would be similar. Red flagged. Okay, because, you know, I get that there are more red flags on his part. Okay, he has a lot of red flags and extra dramatic. Oh, okay. I get that he brings in his acting skills into these relationships. Isn't that something? He acts, but he still has immaturity. Like the first card that I pulled was the Knight of Wands, and it said immature. That's the first card I pulled. And he is immature for days. For days. Okay. There's not much else to say here. They were not each other's cup of tea, though. I get they were not each other's cup of tea. They didn't really belong together. And so, oh, okay. PR. They tried, though, even though it was PR. All right. They still had a go at it. Well, we're being put together, you know, for the cameras. But let's have a go at this. And it was ho-hum. And Kate was like, okay, enough PR. See ya. I'll read the chat when I'm all done. Because the print is small and I have to get there and I don't want to break things up too much. All right, so that was Kate Moss. Let's move on to Gisele. Okay, Gisele. We know she went on to marry Tom Brady because she's the only one that's stuck in this relationship. She was with him for, you know, quite a few years. But he didn't have the capacity. He doesn't want to marry is what I get. All right, so let's get a love oracle card for Gisele and Leonardo. Let's see. I find that picture interesting. They're mirroring one another. Let me put that back up so you can see it. See how they have their hand on their chin? They're in sync there. I'm getting they were too busy to realize that this was a crap relationship. They were too busy. Oh my God. Okay. But it was just blah. All right. All right, let's see if they were to say something. I want to be different. I want to be different. Okay, that's Leonardo. That is Leonardo. I want to be different, but I don't have the capacity. I can't be. I can be who I am. I cannot be different. I don't have the capacity. More importantly, I don't have the desire, is what I get. Well, let's see what kind of goddess she is. He just doesn't have the desire. You know, we all have choices in life, right? He chooses to just continue to stay on that hamster wheel of 20-year-old relationships. Okay, this is the goddess that she is. Watch her. I wouldn't be surprised if she was a water sign. Very emotional in this relationship. When they would come together, it was very emotional. But they weren't together as much as people might think. Even though they were in a long-term relationship, I don't see them spending long periods of time together because they were younger and they were deep into their careers. And so I don't see them being together enough for it to. They were just busy, both very serious in their career, both very involved. And honestly, truth be told, their careers came first. Let's get some oracle cards. Their careers came first. And I get when they came together, it was good, and then it would just get boring, bland. But it wasn't so bad for Gisele because she's more homebody-ish. That's what I'm getting. So that didn't really pain her. It's interesting. Okay. All right. Now this card came out again, and I shuffled plenty. Even if I just put it back in the deck somewhere, for it to come out again is just, what are the odds, right? And I said it in the beginning of the reading, and I said it in other readings that I've done on Leonardo, that he is cheap, which is a penny pinching is another way of saying that. In relationships, he is a cheap man, and he wants the receipts because he might even want to take something back that he bought you. I think I may have said that about him before. Spiritually woke was Gisele. Black sheep of the family. I get Leonardo being a black sheep in general, just maybe not just of the family, but just a black sheep. I get he's awkward. He's an awkward person. Let's pull a couple tarot cards and see if there's anything else we can get from this before we move on. We've only got two more. I don't even know if I should bother to do a who's next because we already know it's going to be a 20-something. Probably, blonde-haired, blue-eyed 20-something because that's his preference. And it's going to be that way till he's got both feet in the ground. Okay, six of swords. Leaving behind, moving forward, distance. That's the relationship. Six of swords. I get they broke up a lot. They would just split up and kind of do their thing, involve themselves with other people. Huh. All right, I'm going to leave that there. I don't think there's much else to say. We're going to move on to Camila Morrone, who he is said to have been in a relationship with for 6 years. So I'm going to put these cards back in the deck. And then we'll move on to Camila Morrone. It's unfortunate that some people are just, some people are broken and they don't try to get better. Some people are broken and they get better and they're like in amazing relationships, I mean, you're going to have your ups and downs in anything, relationship, friendship, but, to constantly, I don't see him ever marrying either. It's not in the cards for him, as they say. Okay, let's move on. Okay, this is Camila Morrone. Okay, another young person. It's getting to be a theme, huh? Well, we already know that. We know all about Leonardo, but we're understanding why he's like this. Okay, let's move this along because it's really, okay, this is on the top and I'm going to take it. And this one. And this one. Because, yeah, I'm going to take all of these because this is how I'm getting she's feeling. Do you still think about me? And I get him feeling the same way. In this instance, he was done. I still care about you. If they're mirroring, these are what they're saying. Is there a second chance? Is what she's thinking. And I need to see you. Wow. I get these are heavy, her, feels. Which is interesting because I said earlier that most of the women leave him. Now, what's interesting is that the relationship was bland, boring, not, anything great, but I feel that she might be a bit broken. Camila Morrone. I hope I said her name correctly the first time. Camila Morrone. Okay, let's see what kind of goddess she is. I get a lot of insecurities and not feeling the best about oneself. Potential. Okay, right. And that makes sense. She has potential to be something far better. She just has to tap into that. Because right now, all of these things that she's saying, I want to see you, can we get back? With this type of person, she doesn't value herself at this moment in time. Let's get a few keyword cards. And then we have one last relationship of Victoria Ceretti that he's with now that won't be lasting, but we already know that. It doesn't take a seer to know that, right? All right, let's get a couple of these. I like 4. 4 is a nice even number and it gives us quite a bit. Not too much and not too little. Okay, receipts. I want the receipts. I want back what I gave you. I'm telling you people, this guy that's him talking. Okay, reading up, doing the research, learning more, and gaining insight. And I get that this is what she's doing, when she's not feeling like, woe with me. Maybe a little paranoid, but I get that he would be feeling the same. They mirror each other in a lot of ways. Okay, graduation day. It's interesting what I get from this and got from it immediately is that she'll graduate away from him, move on to something. It was just any relationship has arguing. And I don't get a whole lot of that. I get it's just being still and quiet, not a whole lot going on, coming together, enjoying each other's time, but him still being the person that he is. Not much else to say. Just again, that immature person. Okay, we're going to finish with Victoria Ceretti. And this is somebody that he's currently dating. So this ought to be interesting to see what wants to come out. I mean, she probably knows he's not going to marry her. I don't think she wants to marry him, though. I don't get that. I get it's clout for her. I get she's quite smart. Kind of like a Johnny Depp. I'm going to use you. But you won't get his money, that's for sure. You won't get Leonardo's money. He's too smart for that. Well, you could if you sue him, and he'll be sued, but not too much, to a detriment. All right, let's see. All right. This is Leonardo now with Victoria Ceretti. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and get a love card. This is who he's with currently, is what I get. Or this is one of his latest relationships. So let's see what I get him just like, do I, how can I keep going with this is what I'm getting. As it relates to this relationship. I still think about you. Okay, that tells me one thing and one thing only, that this is on its way out the door. I still think about you, if it isn't already. And if they're still together and that's what you're seeing, it's about, I still think about you because this relationship is done. Stick a fork in it. Let's get the kind of goddess. Let's get a goddess card and see the type of goddess that she is. I feel like these are just repetitive. They're all pretty much the same. I don't know what you think out there, but that's what I'm getting. Independence. She's very independent. Doesn't really, at this stage of the game, people know the game. People know him. People do their research on him to somebody else's, the one I just did prior, Camila, doing their research. It's like you have a wealth of information on this person. It wasn't like on Leonardo is who I'm talking about. It wasn't like Juliet Lewis, one of the first relationships he had back in the day when he was quite young. There wasn't the internet and there was not a lot of history, but now there is. And the women are different, but he remains the same. He remains the same. All right, let's get a couple of these tarot cards. I'm feeling drawn to pull. If you have any questions, folks, put it in there now. Okay, I'm going to take that one. Put your questions in, and when I'm finished with this, if you have any, and when I'm done, I'll take a peek and see if there's any questions. If not, then we'll close out with who's next, right? I'm going to get one more. So we'll finish this up. You can type your questions in if you have them, and I'll read them. If there aren't any questions, then I'll move on to the next girlfriend, because we already know there will be a next. Okay, so we have Ace of Swords that relates to this clarity and truth, new ideas, victory and triumph. Okay, I get that she did her homework on him. Yeah, she knew what she was walking into. 10 of Swords, defeat, failure, all of that. But she's like, I'm going to do it. No new bad publicity is good publicity. That's what I pick up from her. Very smart, very independent, very capable, is spending a short amount of time with this person being Leonardo, to get some, cred. There's not much else to say. I'm not even going to belabor it. I'm going to leave it there. Okay, do I have any questions? I don't, so I'm going to move on to who's next. Because if we know one thing, that's that he doesn't stay with anyone for very long. But as we've gone through this read, we understand why. And we understand that he gets dumped a lot, just like she'll dump him. I don't know what the tabloids will say, but I'm here to tell you, he gets dumped 9 out of 10 times. Okay. All right. Let's get a goddess card on whoever's going to come in after Victoria Ceretti. Because like I say, we already know somebody else is going to come in. We already know that. Okay, this is interesting. It says patterns. It's Ellen of the Ways. Okay, but I'm really just going right now with the words. And she recognizes the patterns to what I was just saying. He has patterns in relationships. And this person, this new person, is already has Googled him, because she's young. So she's been raised on the internet. And she sees the patterns, but she'll step in after a Victoria Ceretti is done with him. But let's get some characteristics of this new relationship. I don't even really know why I'm bothering, because we already know, but it might, okay, we're going to go ahead and see, because this might surprise us. Let's get a couple of these. These are characteristics, features of his next potential. But I'm getting it will be. Okay. All right. Long brown wavy hair. That's a bit of a departure. Well, not necessarily. Oh, they'll be a bit thicker. Obese. Huh. Look out for this, because that's not his usual MO. Dark skin. Now, this doesn't mean brown, dark. It could be brown, olivey, something about the skin, though. Could even be tattoos. And they'll sometimes have straight hair. But we see they're going to look more like this. But there's something about the skin and their weight. It'll be different, because all of the women he's dated have been thin, waif thin. I'm just going to leave it there. I don't see any questions or anything else in the chat. Let me see if I missed anything. Oh, somebody said, yes, he's a dirty player. Yeah. He is a fake, pathetic demon. Oh my goodness. Well, that is it. That is Leonardo DiCaprio's relationships through the years. We've learned quite a bit from this read, right? We've learned that well, if you've watched my other readings, you would know. But in this particular reading, what we've learned, what we've said is that I've said is that he is cheap, stingy, frugal, boring. He gets dumped by women. I don't take joy in saying these things, because there's plenty of celebrity men that are giving, loving, never get dumped. They're actually dumping the women and they're crying. But in this situation, this is who we're dealing with. Somebody that just doesn't have the capacity, the maturity to stay in anything long term and grow with someone. They don't have the capacity to do that. Let's see, Jillian, I see you said something there. Yeah, right, Jillian? All right, folks, I'm going to leave it there. Very fascinating reading. I'm so glad you came out and hung out with me. I'm trying to think who's next. I've got a couple. I think I'm doing R. Kelly, which will be interesting. I look forward to that one, even though, and I'm even going to do his boyfriend in prison. We have some different ones. Shannon Sharp, I'm going to do Brad Pitt. So I'm going to do these all the time so we can all get a glimpse into and understand these people that are trying to hide. They're putting one thing out there, but the reality is it goes much deeper than what they're telling us. And since they're out there lying, it's my job to come on here and tell you the truth. All right, folks, thank you so much for stopping by The Humble Seer. Until next time, as always, you take good care, and we'll talk soon. Bye.